Hello and welcome back to another video right here on the channel. So Melody, it's the first of the month, which means only one thing.
Streetfighter.
Streetfighter. And do you know what number we're up to?
Number 51.
Yep, last month we hit number 50. I think there are 60 in the collection.
Yeah.
So we're nearly there now, folks. So for those of you who follow us all the way through, we are grateful. We've enjoyed doing these. This is the... Yeah, we've got 3 left, haven't we?
Yeah.
This one next month, and I think it'll be November.
Yeah.
And we finish off. So there is your introduction. So anyone who's new here, why haven't you followed us on all the other episodes? We get a box, 4 figures, 4 magazines. We go through them. I waffle. Mel shows you the figures. There's the job done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So issue 51. Is a strange looking guy called Oro. Okay, so straight away he looks like a kind of ghoul kind of character. I've never seen him, but I'm sure, as with all these, we're going to find out where he's from.
Yeah.
Okay, so Oro, the century-old master, an ancient hermit in search of a successor. With no less than 140 years behind him, Oro is a legendary master of senjutsu. After living in a cave in the Amazon jungle for years, he decides to come out of retirement to look for a disciple on whom to bestow his legacy. So he actually says here, in search of a pupil. So I say it all the time about the art in these magazines, they really are good. Little reminder guys, these magazines are going to be available to any of our viewers who would actually like them. I took this on as just a collection of the figurines. I have no place in the studio for the magazines, so anybody who'd like them, below and we'll sort that out for you. Okay, so going on to page 2, and he says, "You boast that you are fast, but to me, your moves are in slow motion, young man. You need to be humble." So automatically he seems like quite a zen kind of character, doesn't he? Did you know the Master of Masters? Oro is the oldest character ever to appear in the Streetfighter franchise. Okay, so date of birth unknown, birthplace Japan, height 1.61 metres, weight 71 kilograms, and his debut is Streetfighter 3, 1997. So have you got anybody out there who's actually played Street Fighter 3? I can't recall. I played several versions of Street Fighter 2. I played Street Fighter 4. I've had a little go of Street Fighter 5, I think. But it stopped for me, basically, folks, on Street Fighter 2. Really did. Okay, so a few more little graphics for you there of our man Oro. So what are you thinking?
Very strange looking character.
Yeah, very unique, isn't it?
Well, he's 140.
Yeah. Okay, so experience is key. Techniques and abilities. It says Oro is a character recommended for expert players because it's notably difficult to extract his full potential. Okay, so straight away we say his main technique is the Nichiren Shu, the Tengu Stone, the Jinchu Watari, and the Yagnu Dharma. Okay, and they are shown there in all their glory. So this has been a really nice feature of the series. I've really enjoyed seeing this, the characters' special moves, and telling you like a little bit about them.
Yeah.
Because as I say, characters like this, you're going to think, oh, he looks interesting, and then, you know, you can go away, you can read the magazine and see all about him, you know, which is... That's an interesting poster, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that a turtle he's got hold of there?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys, there he is with
his age.
with a turtle. Yeah, hey ho. Okay, so moving on to the Legend of Street Fighter, and it says Street Fighter 2 Ryu. Okay, so the early days of Street Fighter as a manga license. Okay, so manga is basically the Japanese comics. And it looks like it's a series. It says in 1991, Street Fighter 2 made history and shook the video game industry in an almost unprecedented way. Yada yada, going on about comic books, and yeah, going on basically about the anime. There's Ryu there on one, and we have a scantily clad Kami on another. So it looks like, I say, you know by now, folks, this license is titanic. It's massive. You know, we have everything from books to manga to films to animated features to figurines. It really is. I think the soundtracks, wasn't it, the other month?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely titanic. Okay, the history of Capcom. Devilish Tears, the Devil May Cry franchise. Did you ever play?
No.
I did. A friend of mine, she used to play it all the time, and she introduced me to it. And it's basically, it's like a dude. I'm going to show the picture in a minute. You guys who've already played it know exactly who I'm talking about. I'm flicking down quickly here to try and find out what his name is, because for life I can't remember. Someone's screaming at me. This is what Dante. So you play Dante, and you kind of go around and you fight all kinds of different stuff, like massive weapons and like overemphasized combat. And at the time, it was a really, really interesting game. I won't lie, I found it quite hard. But yeah, so it says basically after the release of Resident Evil 2, Capcom focused on developing more installments as a hugely successful franchise. Then it goes on to say about Resident Evil 3. And then it says they come away after Resident Evil 4 and basically made Devil May Cry. Okay, I'm flicking through it here, honestly, guys, because there's just like a ton of stuff. You're basically a demon hunter, to cut a long story short. So it shows the cover of like the PlayStation 2. I'm sure this was just a PlayStation 2 game. I'm not saying it has appeared, I think, in like obviously PlayStation 3 and probably 4, I don't know. But I don't recall. Yeah, there you go. They got the Devil May Cry collection there on PlayStation 3, folks. Okay, so it shows that there. So these magazines are really interesting. I know Jason, one of our regular viewers, he really enjoys this section, the history of Capcom, going back over like the old games. Probably not so much my waffling, Jace. Okay, says, so the hunt goes on. After its debut, Devil May Cry became a successful saga. Now it's got a couple of games on a PlayStation 2, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 4. And then it says Dante's Reboot. Around 2010, Capcom decided to outsource the development of some of its projects and commissioned the Devil May Cry Reboot from Ninja Theory, who were an English studio. It was released in 2013 for Xbox 360, PS3 and Windows. Okay, so yeah, Dante and his franchise has been around quite a long time, folks. So at this point, have any of you actually played Devil May Cry? Are you a big fan of the franchise? What do you think? I know Melody is desperate to show you Oro, so I will shut my mouth and let her show you the figure.
It's a very strange looking character.
Yeah, very weird, doesn't he? Like I say, he's got that almost Buddhist monk kind of look about him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, so as always, folks, we will be doing a full show of these at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Where we put them on a turntable, obviously, so we can see them properly instead of just at a glance. Okay, so we go on to number 52, and this is Alex, and this guy looks a bit more, dare I use the term, normal?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's find out about Alex in issue number 52. Okay, so Alex, it says, is the king of KO. A fighter with the makings of a true champion, Alex is a young man of few words and somewhat introverted, with a brusque character and often exaggerated manners. However, he actually has a great sense of justice and is kind to those who deserve it. And he says, you have nothing to teach me, you better not waste my time and just fight. Okay, so there is Alex. Okay. And he says, you were absent and unfocused. You have to take control of your mind before your body. Try hard. Okay, so some little fun facts. Alex Mania. Sounds almost like its own video game, doesn't it? Reminds me of Alex Kidd. Alex led the new generation of fighters introduced in Street Fighter 3 in 1997. So already we're seeing a pattern now. These are the Street Fighter 3 fighters. They often do this. You've probably, those of you guys, your Justins, your Glens, your Jasons, your Jimmys, who've been with us, Wayne, from like the offset, know that like we tend to go on like a pattern, don't we?
Yeah.
Of like a couple of these issues, it seems to me, like boxed together for different characters and different games. Okay. So initially, Alex was conceived as a police officer with previous experience as a wrestler, but this was finally rejected, probably because that background was too similar to that of Hagar, the legendary leading character of Final Fight. There's Final Fight mentioned yet again. Yeah. It seems every other issue mentions Hagar or Hagar and Final Fight, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay, so date of birth, the 15th of May. Birthplace, United States, 1.95 metres in height, 111 kilograms, and his debut, as previously mentioned, Street Fighter 3, 1997. Okay, so moving on to his techniques and abilities, and says speed and power. Alex is an ideal character for players who feel comfortable fighting at any range. Yeah, do you know what? My technique, the way I play Ryu, I'd probably be alright with Alex, to be fair. Okay, so his main technique is the flash chop, and then we go the heavy hammer, the air knee smash, and a boomerang raid. Okay, so there is a little view of all of those. Okay, looks like an interesting character already. I would like to actually play this guy. Every so often you go through, don't you? And you go, oh yeah, I can play him, or I can play her, you know? Jumping ahead. Ah, okay.
That's a cool
Very
poster.
interesting poster, yeah. Yeah, I'll just share that with you folks and make of it what you will. I personally think it's quite a stunning piece of art. Very, seeing the city in the background, yeah, looks really good. Okay, so The Legend of Street Fighter. Street Fighter, the Udon comic book series. The best way to enjoy Street Fighter outside the video games. So it looks like they actually took them to comics.
Yeah.
Because the last issue had manga.
Yeah.
Okay, apparently they've been working with the Street Fighter license for almost 2 decades. And there's just some graphics of the looks of the actual comic books. So any of you folks out there who like your comics, let me know if you actually, you know, come across these. Have you read any Street Fighter comics, graphic novels, manga? You know, let me know. We're interested, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, the history of Capcom. Fighting in Style, the Beautiful Joe Saga. Now, I first come across Beautiful Joe on the Nintendo GameCube. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was an exclusive. And it's basically a fighting platform game. I can't tell you too much more. I never owned it. I remember seeing the magazines at the time that made a big deal out of it. Anybody out there played Beautiful Joe who can let me know. Was it good? What was the score? Again, I'm not going to get into the trap I fell in with the last issue where I'm sort of like reading and scanning down through, but it tells you all about it, okay? And it shows us some of the graphics from the franchise there. Okay, and then the return of Joe. Beautiful Joe failed to establish itself as a franchise, but extended its lifespan with several sequels. And again, it's a GameCube, hadn't I?
Yeah.
Nintendo DS and the PSP, of all things. So that's one there for any fans of Beautiful Joe to actually have a look at and enjoy. So can you show us Alex, please, Melody?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, quite an interesting guy, isn't he? Quite an
Yeah,
interesting character. I'm looking forward to getting him out the box and having a look. And talking about interesting, we move on to issue 53. I'm just having a peep at the figure off camera there. This is Necro. Okay. So, what do you make to Necro?
Looks a bit like
Looks
an alien or something.
kind of android or something.
Yeah.
I think, like, let's have a look anyway. Okay. Okay, so there we go. Necro, the mutant rebel, victim of the dark genetic experiments of the secret society. So the scheming secret society has been governing the world from the shadows for thousands of years. Its current leaders use genetic engineering to create efficient and obedient soldiers to serve their plans. So he's obviously some kind of android, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he says, I'm too strong for you. Challenging me would be a mistake. You better think twice about it. Okay.
Really?
There he is. Okay, so see what I mean about that sort of androidy kind of look. And he says again, little speech bubbles on here, guys. I always enjoy reading them out. I'll do anything to earn my freedom and to prevent anyone else from suffering my fate. So he's obviously some kind of like almost like a rebel, isn't he? He says, yeah, the fugitive, while on a run from their captors, Necro and Effie fell in love, forming an unbreakable bond that allowed them to find some peace in the midst of the chaos their lives had become. So it's almost a little bit of a Blade Runner-esque kind of touch. Yeah, interesting. The Electric Fighter. Necro made his debut in Street Fighter 3, the new generation, bringing diversity to the franchise's lineup. With Street Fighter 3, Capcom intended to fully update their fighter lineup of its most successful license. They not only needed to create new characters, but also make some of them as unique as Blanca and Dalsim, who of course have been around since Street Fighter 2. Okay, so unknown date of birth, birthplace Russia, height says variable, 60 kilograms in weight, and aforementioned Street Fighter 3, 1997. So young mutant. Necro is tall and slim, and his mutations are visible in all aspects, like the colour of his skin and his yellow eyes. Okay, so yeah, we're going very sort of sci-fi, androidy, weirder, aren't we, really, to be fair? Okay, it says going the distance. Necro is effective from any range, although his middle and short distance attacks are more dangerous, so you'd have to get in with him, wouldn't you? Oh, I see why. Yeah, the electric blaster, the electric snake, the tornado hook, and the slam dance. So straight away we can see there that they're going to be moves that are going to be up close and personal. So, yeah, an interesting guy. Looks rather electrified there, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there is Necro, folks, in his picture. And again, guys, you know, these magazines, if you want them, you know, just take off the posters.
Yeah.
They're worth it. They look lovely on a wall. You know, I just don't have the studio space to be able to do it. Okay, the legend of Street Fighter. Street Fighter origins Akuma. Now, we met Akuma before, haven't we? Okay, a fine introduction to the comics of Street Fighter. So again, obviously, this is where we're going with this set of magazines. And it just tells us all about the publishers. It says Street Fighter Origins Akuma is an ideal introduction to Udon's extensive catalogue of comics. Okay, and it just shows us them there. There is Akuma, who we met a few issues ago. I can't remember off the top of my head how many months ago it was, but I do remember boxing the figure. Quite an impressive figure, if I think right. Okay, I've been caught out. Happens every issue, every episode, doesn't it? Battles in feudal Japan. The Sengoku Basara franchise. This, of course, the history of Capcom. A game with historical setting. It becomes a phenomenon in Japan. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. It says PlayStation 2. I'm just going to show you because I have absolutely no clue whatsoever as to what this game is, even though by the screenshots it does look quite cool.
Yeah.
But it did say a phenomenon in Japan, so probably like most things, it probably hasn't actually come over here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At some point. Oh, there you go. Yeah. To export Sengoku Basara, Capcom decided to change numerous elements of the game to adapt it to what the company perceived as the taste of the United States and Europe. The title was renamed Devil Kings. So anyone who's played Devil Kings, drop a comment below. Let me know, because again, I have been kind of caught out here. I've never ever played it. And finishing off with the Basara phenomenon. Although little known in the West, Sengoku Basara is an institution in the East. So our friends in Japan obviously know more about this than what we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, there we go. I think that was a flash of a Nintendo Wii box as well. So yeah, a really interesting issue with a really interesting figurine, if you want to just give that a quick...
He's got a really long pointy nose.
Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah. Unusual character, really is.
Yeah.
But again, I'm talking of unusual. This whole box has just been totally strange, yeah. This is Q.
Hello, Q.
Yeah. So, yeah, there he is. I'm not sure what his story is, but I cannot wait to find out, because he does look really intriguing. And to be fair, again, taking a quick look at the figurine off camera, he does look quite cool.
Yeah.
Okay, the man in the metal mask. Who is behind the impenetrable mystery? No one knows who hides behind the mask of the individual known only as Q, or what his intentions are. The mysterious fellow appears and disappears at will at the most unlikely times and in many places, and his fighting style is completely unorthodox. Okay, so yeah, sweet artwork, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really is. Looks really, really good, this guy. I get the impression he's some kind of like, I don't know, like assassin, maybe, you know? Okay, so the Q files, just says all about him there. I'm not going to go right into that. Okay, fun facts. Q made his debut in Street Fighter The Third Strike in 1999, but the game did not reveal his true identity. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys let me know below if anybody knows Q's identity, just for fun, because after this I'm going to go away and I'm going to read the rest of it just for fun. Okay, and all his stuff, his bio, is completely unknown, with the exception of Street Fighter 3 Third Strike 1999 being his debut.
He's very mysterious, isn't he?
He is. There we go. Okay. I say normally the bio goes right into it, but very mysterious guy. Okay, crushing like a steamroller. Q is a defensive character. He possesses great resilience and suffers from his slowness. Okay, but that said, they just turn around and says moves are the dashing straight, total destruction, the high speed barrage, and critical combo attack. So he probably is one of these kind of, dare I use the term, like tank kind of characters, you know? Where he is that bit slower, but like when he hits you, you know, boom, you're going to get it. Yeah, that does actually portray in his poster there, folks. So yeah, there is Q. Okay. The Legend of Street Fighter. Okay, so you go the music of Street Fighter Alpha and Street Fighter 3. So while Street Fighter Alpha continued the music legacy of Street Fighter 2, the soundtrack of Street Fighter 3 was very different. Okay, so I'm wondering, these actually look like LPs, don't they? Vinyl.
Yeah.
The soundtrack of Street Fighter 3 broke with the style established in previous installments. And it looks like discs. Yeah, Capcom released CD editions of these soundtracks of both Street Fighter Alpha 1, 2 and 3. And just basically lists down all the Street Fighter things. It says there's 72 tracks. The presentation of the discs on CD and vinyl was also excellent. So again, there's a few of our viewers, Jimmy and Jason come to mind. Glenn as well, who actually collect vinyl. Jimmy and Jason do stuff on their channel about vinyl. Have you guys got any of these? I'd say maybe more Jason as to Jimmy, knowing Jimmy's musical tastes. But yeah, Jason, if you're watching, drop us a comment below, mate. Have you got any of these? Is it something that you'd actually play? In fact, you know, any of you guys who are watching, do you own any of this stuff? Do you own any of the books, the comic books, anything? Let us know. You know, it really would be. I know Melody's interested.
Yeah.
I am myself, you know. Just we love to know like what you guys are up to, and what your interests are. So, you know, if you haven't already as well, with this being the third episode from the end, introduce yourself, say hi, let us know who you are. Have you enjoyed us, or, you know, what about the show? Do you like Street Fighter that much you can sit there and watch us through God knows how many episodes? Is it 16 in total, I think the series is going to run for? Yeah. Okay, so history of Capcom. For the last time this episode. 1,000 Ways to Kill a Zombie, the Dead Rising franchise, okay? A series that distanced itself from the terror of Resident Evil to embrace crazy humour. I did see this one. It's shown Xbox 360 on the cover, which I'll show you in a minute, and it's basically it was like Resident Evil gone crazy. You pick up stupid things like all kinds of mad weapons and belt and batter the zombies, and you'd have everything from clubs. I think you'd actually pick up like shopping trolleys and all kinds of madness. It's kind of like a Ramiro on acid, kind of gone mad. Like all the zombie kind of tropes you can think of, but in a comedy kind of way, you know. Yeah, there you go, Terror in the Supermarket. It's almost like, you know, I kind of come out with this stuff, and honestly, folks, you know, this first time these magazines are open, I just tend to come out with something and I get like a headline, like I just said about the shopping trolleys. Terror in the Supermarket. Dead Rising, Chop Till You Drop, 2009 for Nintendo Wii. I'm not even going to go into that, to be fair. Puts a new take on Supermarket Sweep, doesn't it? Indeed. A show we used to have here many years ago in the United Kingdom. Okay, and finishing off with The Zombies Strike Back. Capcom continued the Dead Rising series with thrilling and funny sequels. So yeah, okay, now I didn't know that. PlayStation 4, there's actually available on there for you folks with PlayStation. I'm an Xbox man myself. But yeah, just tells us about the further iterations of the Dead Rising franchise. Okay, there we go. There's some of the covers there for you. And that leaves us with only a final figurine to show. So yeah, I mean, he is going to be fantastic on the turntable, isn't he? He really is. He's a really interesting figure. So guys, that about wraps up the latest episode. So we've got October with 4 more figures and magazines, and I think November, the final one, is going to be just 2 figures and 2 magazines. So all that is left to do, guys, is the YouTube stuff. You know, you like what you see, like, share, subscribe if you wish. If not, no problem. Thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate you dropping by. And if it is your first time watching this, go back and watch all the previous episodes, you know. Let us know what you think. More importantly than that, Melody, what do the folks need to do? Leave a comment below. Leave a comment below, guys. Just tell us anything, any opinions or whatever on any of the stuff you've seen here today. Favourite figures, favourite characters. Have you played any? Do you want any magazines? How are you? What's happening in your part of the world? And tell us why you love Street Fighter so much, okay? Until next month, Melody. Bye-bye for now. See you later, folks.